So this is going to be finally working on the 1978 gt18. This is that Onan that came out of my hydro when I did the engine swap on that. And it's just going to make its way into this. It's not even bolted down yet. Seat isn't even bolted down. Here's all the parts I'm going to end up using. I found a pulley in the pulley bin that isn't broken, so that was kind of cool, because usually there's chunks missing out of them. I found this pulley cover, however I wish that it wasn't painted and was original black, so maybe I'll find another one of those. Since it's an original tractor, original paint everywhere, so it should probably have an original one of these. All the wiring from the hydro. This is kind of nasty. That'll be down there. This is, oh my, this is mushy. That ain't supposed to be mushy. It's all burnt. Something isn't right there. So probably not going to use that regulator. The hood, busted as normal. They fixed it. Fixed it there and there because it broke off once, and then it looks like it busted off again. However, it didn't. The hood cable didn't break, so that's kind of cool. However, it's missing the grill corner, which kind of sucks, because I don't have any silver ones, I only have black ones. I need to debend that fender. No headlights. I don't have any more headlights. Don't know what happened to them. I can't find them anyway. I need to remove that rear fender to get to the fuel tank, and then probably pull the fuel line out and put some new fuel line in. Probably new fuel filter that on the engine, because this one's kind of crummy. So I'm gonna get a few things done and then come back with some more progress. So the engine is now bolted in, no longer wobbling in the tractor. I had to completely redo the wiring with some old wiring, because the wiring that I had kind of sucked and nothing really worked. Solenoid was actually broken off because it was so rusty. Like, I can tell why it didn't work. I hooked power up to it, changed the fuse. Never could get anything to work, and then the key switch, I think this was the key switch. Key switch was bad also. Wiring, somebody kind of played with it and made it all kind of goofy, so I kind of rewired it with some more old wiring. It's only hooked up to start the engine and run the coil, because I couldn't figure out how to hook up the charging system. I'm not an electrician, so don't know how to do that. I know there's two wires coming from the engine, and then these two here, it hooks to those, but I don't know in what order, and then this one goes out to the battery. But other than that, I don't know which order those go in, so I'm just gonna at least skip it for now, at least get it kind of running and driving, and then do that. The lights aren't even hooked up. Like, here's the wire for the lights. The hour gauge isn't hooked up. It probably doesn't even work anyway, and that's not even how many hours are on this engine, so it doesn't even matter to me anyway. Like, the light switch is all seized up. Then of course this PTO switch, or the 3-point raise and lower, it doesn't have one of those either, so. But it does turn over, this engine does run, so I don't really need to start it in order to know that it runs, because I had it running 2 days ago. What I'm working on now is the throttle and the choke, because the throttle cable needs to get replaced because somebody cut the end right there, and then the choke is rusted really bad, and I went to pull on it and it broke the dash, so that kind of sucks. So I'll probably have to put a little washer on there to fix it. Kind of sucks because this dash was perfectly fine until I went and pulled on that. So I'm gonna have to replace those two and the fuel line. And as you can see, the fuel line is probably original, and you can basically just kind of grab it and just kind of bend it, and look at that, it just snaps. It's really nasty. Of course it didn't snap completely this time, but like right here. Oh, of course it didn't snap. Well, off camera I snapped it right there, and it actually snapped completely in half, just by bending it. So it's no good. Well, either way, it was going to get replaced with some of this cheap clear hose that I have a ton of. So I'm going to get some more stuff done, and then maybe even fix the steering. I greased it up when I first got this tractor, but it still turns really hard. So what I might do is just jack the front end up and then just turn the steering wheel a whole bunch of times and see what happens. So I'm going to get some more done and then come back. So I went ahead and I got the throttle cables all done. You can hear it moving. And the choke cable. And this is really easy because I forgot how the 76 and newer tractors with the plastic fuel tank, that you don't have to take the fender off or the tire off. All you have to do is take off this back plate, and then you can just lift it out and take the fuel tank out. And then something else I was going to show you guys is that all of these plastic fuel tank tractors always have a date on the fuel tank. Like this one was made, the date is upside down, somebody put it upside down, 10/9 of 77 it was made. So I just thought that's cool, and if you don't know what year your tractor is and it's got that plastic tank, that'll tell you, other than of course the stickers, if you don't know what that is. If you don't know what the stickers are, you can always just look at the plastic fuel tank. And then the other way to identify the year is the code on the engine. And then of course, on how I always identify years if I'm not 100% sure just by looking at the side is I have a huge list from Roper of the 917 numbers from 76 to 1980 for both Sears and Roper tractors. Every one that they made is on that list. Anyway, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish some stuff up, put the hood on, finish bolting down that back plate, air up the tires, hook the fuel line up, probably clean it a little bit better and throw some clear coat on it, and do a whole bunch of stuff, and next time you see this, it'll look like brand new, sort of. So it still doesn't run perfect at idle, but it does run still. The squeak, I'm not really sure what that is because it doesn't really sound like it's the hood. I'm thinking it might have something to do with this, because this is half on there. Probably has something to do with that. The squeak was probably the flywheel just kind of touching this cover, I'm assuming. There's a few things that should get done, like the headlights. I don't have any more headlights, so I decided to skip those for now. I don't have a grille corner in silver, so I decided to skip that also. I clear coated it so it looks somewhat shiny. I tried scrubbing the fenders with some steel wool to get some of that silver back, but that didn't really work out very good. But there you go, one tractor that I have with a halfway original engine in it. And it does have an hour gauge, but I cannot tell what it actually says. You can read it, but I don't know how to read these. But it's also kind of foggy, being that it has 3 different arms on it. I have no idea how to actually read it. So anyway, that's the video on getting the 78 GT18 going with the old 18 horse Onan from my hydro. Thanks for watching.